Hey, what's up, guys? It's a good news. We added in the Pokeball Vivillon, and we're gonna be sending that fucker out in a giveaway. I haven't done a giveaway in a little while, but I thought Pokeball Vivillon warranted pumping a bunch out to Wonder Trade because at XyHax.Blog Spot, our goal is to fuck up the shiny economy. So, as you know, with economics, there's supply and demand, and the demand for this Pokemon is great, and the supply is not. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fix that. What we got here today? Don't mind Team Arceus. 6IV Team Arceus there. Alright, so we're gonna Wonder Trade a little bit. Let's get over to the right box. Here's what we have. Poof! Pokeball Vivillon, level 100, right? Holding Master Ball. We're going to be sending these fuckers out. I figured I'd record it. I'm going to send out boxes and boxes and boxes of these fuckers. I'm going to send out a box, restore my save, send out another box, restore my save, rinse, lather, repeat. And yeah, it should be fun. So I just wanted to record this so you guys could check it out and watch some of these guys go out, and maybe you'll see your name down here in the bottom screen if you're lucky. And we'll see what we get, right? Who knows, maybe we'll get a Pokeball Vivillon. That would be a good sign. Let's say somebody else is trying to help out, flooding the network. Alright. And sender. And there it goes. Keep pumping out these shinies. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do all week. All fucking week long. I'll be watching TV, playing video games, and pumping out Pokemon. Did that scare the shit out of you or what?
Hey guys! So you know that video you've been demanding that I make for the past 6 months? Something about the 10 Pokemon that I like the least, or the least favorites of the 10 Pokemon that piss me off the most? So I was thinking about it, and My least favorites really just make me mad. Oh, and I should
This is a video by Dookie
these
Shed.
are just opinions, so I'm sorry.
I'm sure some of you got Dookie Shed in your
Pokemon's
subscription
on
list.
here. I really am. People just wanted me to make this video, okay? So I'm making it. I'm making it. I'm just gonna make this video. I'm just gonna make this video. So here they are. My 10 least favorite Pokemon, or the 10 Pokemon that piss me off the most. Number 10! Meet Dick Deer. Of all the Pokemon out there, it might seem odd for one as innocuous as Stantler to be on somebody's least favorites list, but like some of the entries on here, this one has a story. I had just gotten back into Pokemon and I was enjoying every last second of Heart Gold. Now, I'm the kind of player who tends to catch anything he doesn't have, so naturally when I saw a wild Stantler, standard procedure dictated that I capture it. Had I known it would send my beloved team through a hellish nightmare with its move list of Stomp, Astonish, and Hypnosis, I would have fainted it immediately and moved on. But no, I just had to catch it. So much flinching. This particular Stantler left my team in shambles. It was a struggle getting this stupid deer to low enough HP to try to capture it, flinching and sleeping my team into oblivion.
Yeah, Dookie Shed coined the term Dick
just
Deer.
Keep breaking out of the damn balls and slowly stomp my team to death, turn after turn.
So now because Dookie Shed did that,
capture it,
people name their Stantlers Dick Deer.
Because Stantler is a dick and now I hate it. Obviously that experience left a few scars. And I mean it does look pretty stupid. Kinda looks like it has a frisbee up its ass and like weird puppy cheeks or something.
Fucking Dick Deer.
Next! Number 9! These two. Okay, first of all, yes, this entry is 2 Pokemon.
Plusle and
what?
Minun.
They're the same Pokemon. Yeah, sure, they look a little different, and their stats are a little different, and they have different names, but I don't care! Plusle and Minun were the first to really establish that we'd be getting a Pikachu ripoff every generation. See, Gen 2 wasn't so obvious about it. The Pikachu ripoff candidates for that generation are Marill and Pichu. Marill being a water type and not really looking too much like Pikachu, and Pichu actually evolves into Pikachu, so you can't really call it a ripoff. But then came Plusle and Minun, shameless Pikachu ripoffs that were a blatant attempt by Game Freak to ride on the coattails of Pikachu's popularity. And you all know how I feel about that. I mean, they even put Pikachu in Ruby and Sapphire, so I really have no idea what they were trying to accomplish by making 2 more Pikachus. Seriously, 1 is enough. Plusle and Minun aren't creative, aren't useful, and started an incredibly silly trend of making some kind of electric rodent every generation, and that's why I don't like them. You're cool though, Pachirisu. You can stay. We can hang out and eat nuts. Number 8! Ah, Graveler, you were a recent addition to my hate lineup, but you sure do deserve it. Honestly, I think I've had a problem with Graveler from the beginning and just never realized it, but there were a few specific occasions playing through X and Y where Graveler really rubbed me the wrong way. Specifically the combination of the sturdy ability and self-destruct. There's nothing quite like the rage I feel when I'm halfway through some cave and some stupid Graveler that I should have knocked out in 1 hit survives with sturdy and blows my lead Pokemon to bits. A Pokemon that I was more than likely trying to level up. At that point, I either have to waste a revive or escape rope out of there so that particular Pokemon doesn't fall way behind in level. I guess there are a handful of Pokemon that are capable of doing this, but I feel like Graveler is the worst offender. It's just such a slap in the face. It's like, no, I killed you. You should be dead. It's the same feeling I get when people use Focus Sash, but that's a rant for another day. On top of that, Graveler doesn't really make sense evolution-wise. I mean, why does a rock with 2 arms turn into a ball of gravel with 4 arms and 2 legs, and then into a boulder lizard thing with 2 arms and 2 legs? Is there a lizard hiding inside of Graveler somewhere? I don't know. Graveler just makes me mad. Number 7! Pelipper! So this is another one that has a story. When I was younger, I used to go fishing a lot with my dad. And if you've ever been fishing, you know that it's pretty much only fun if you're catching things. So after a long day of catching absolutely nothing and being really disappointed about it, I finally land one. I started reeling that sucker in, but before I could even get it off the hook, some lazy bastard of a pelican decides to swoop in and swallow it, hook and everything. Because apparently when you're a creature that evolution has gifted with the ability to hunt for fish on your own, you still find it easier to steal them from stupid kids just trying to get some fresh air for once. So, I hate pelicans. Whenever I see a smug-ass pelican sitting around looking like it's the Duke of the fucking waves, I just want to punch it in its ugly mutant face. And honest to God, that's 100% of the reason why I don't like Pelipper.
Fucking Dookie Shed.
That's it. Jinx. That's right, Graveler isn't the only Gen 1 Pokemon on the list. First of all, this has nothing to do with the whole debate about Jinx being a racial thing. I've hated Jinx since Gen 1 when the world was simple and people didn't read into every single minute detail looking for something to be offended by. Anyway, I find Jinx to be incredibly obnoxious looking. I mean, she constantly gets compared to obnoxious people like Snooki and Nicki Minaj, and while I don't really mind Pokemon based on man-made objects when they're actually wearing clothing, how does that make a shred of sense? Is Jinx a seamstress? I'm a guy who has literally no fashion sense, and I find Jinx's entire ensemble to be super tacky. I mean, are those boob rings? I think my pal Nate Wants to Battle said it best when he said,
yeah, Jinx was based on, I don't know, hookers?
Number 5! Probo Pass. This entry belongs in the Y department. Probo Pass is just fucking stupid. Nose Pass I could live with, but this thing is just hideous. Hideous! So I guess when the nose Pokemon evolves, it grows a mustache and gets a few smaller noses that orbit it. Maybe I have a problem with Pokemon that are based on a body part. I mean, there are only so many body parts, eventually we'll have some kind of... Never mind. Probo Pass is ugly as sin. I'm sorry, that's literally my only reason for disliking it so much. And oh my god, imagine the boogers. Number 4! Diggersby. For those of you that watched my Pokemon X playthrough before I took it down for copyright claims, you know that I always referred to Bunnelby as a dirty-ass rabbit. And while I'm not much of a fan of Bunnelby, Diggersby is a different story entirely. On my first playthrough of the game, I was actually really curious what Bunnelby was going to evolve into, but I didn't really have space on my team to raise one, so I decided to just set my curiosity aside. That was until I met Hiker Dunstan at the end of Reflection Cave and laid eyes on the single most hideous Pokemon in existence. Diggersby looks like the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus ran off the Silent Hill and had an unholy love child. Its call sounds like it's puking up several vomiting weasels. My apologies to Shofu, but this thing is a nightmare. And honestly, what makes it worse in my book is that it's actually strong, so I have to deal with people using it against me. Ugh, that really gets me. But a Pokemon with a design I find to be god-awful is actually useful. Yeah, there's one more of those on this list. Number 3! Licky Licky. Another entry in the Y department. I mean, first of all, Lickitung is already pretty stupid. What even is it? Why did we need a tongue-themed Pokemon? When people complain about newer generations of Pokemon running out of ideas, I immediately point at Lickitung and say, well, in Gen 1 we got the tongue Pokemon. So I don't really think running out of ideas is the problem. Dumb ideas, however, has always been an issue. Enter Licky Licky.
Too true.
Did one of the single stupidest Pokemon out there really need an evolution? Heck, if Licky Licky didn't exist, Lickitung would probably be filling this spot. But the fact that they gave the Tonguemon an evolution just makes it that much stupider. Stupider? That's a word, right? Oh well, at least we have Miley to nickname them after. Number 2! Rotom Wash. So here's another one that I just wish to God wasn't actually powerful. I'm pretty okay with Rotom's normal form, but once it starts sticking appliances up its ass, it kinda loses me. Not only is Rotom Wash the stupidest looking one, it's a nightmare to face in competitive. This thing is the definition of cheap. You can't bring in a physical sweeper on it because it'll just burn it. Fire types are immune to that shit, but it's a water type, so you'd never switch into one. It has Levitate, which negates one of its weaknesses, leaving it weak to only Grass, which is one of the more uncommon attack types. It has a lot of options as far as EV spreads go, so you never know from what angle you need to take it down. And all this from a stupid little washing machine that bounces around yanking on its wang. I mean, an electric water Pokemon could have been some kick-ass weather elemental or a cool electric eel or something, but no. It's a washing machine. I straight up hate this thing. Number 1! Alright folks, here it is. The Pokemon that pisses me off like no other. Fucking Bouffalant. What precisely was the point of this thing? We already have a perfectly good bull, and I know this is a buffalo, but who cares? We didn't even get a lion till Gen 6, just saying. Anyway, let's start with the fro. Is that not the most absolutely random thing you could possibly imagine to base a Pokemon on? It makes me wonder what came first, the name or the design. Because the root of the name is obviously Bouffant, which is a hairstyle that looks like this. Wow, that's cool, let's make it a Pokemon! Forget noses and tongues and whatever the hell else, at least those are body parts in their normal states. Not only is this based on human hair, it's styled hair. Oh, and remember what I said about Pokemon wearing man-made objects? Well, this thing has jewelry. Where did it get that? How did it put it on? I mean, I think a lot of us can agree that Gen 5
Wait till he sees Hoopa.
This is a perfect example of completely misdirected creativity. Oh, and those are just the design aspects. Ever run into one on the battle subway? This thing's head charge after the reckless ability and stab packs a whopping 216 power, driven by this thing's 110 attack stat. That'll end your winning streak right quick. And nothing pisses me off more than my least favorite Pokemon ending my streak. Nothing. And while we're on the subject, Head Charge's Japanese name is Afro Break. What, Japan? What? What is this? You want to put a hairstyle on a Pokemon? Make it subtle. Scrafty is a punk-ass lizard with a mohawk, but it's not actually made of hair, and he's a reptile, so it kind of makes sense for him to have like a little crest or something on his head. That's the main reason I'm not a fan of Mega Ampharos. It just looks dumb to slap random human elements on Pokemon. Maybe it's just me, but I think Awfulon here is just a disgrace. 0 out of 10 million. I just spilled water all over my computer. It was really stupid watching it. Watching it, Scooter, that was really stupid. Wasn't that stupid? Well, thanks for watching my video. Once again, I'm sorry if a Pokemon you like was on the list. I'm sorry. I just get very passionate. I'm a very passionate man. So make sure you subscribe to my channel or I'm gonna freaking kill you! See, I need to just calm down. I need to just...
Yeah, that was Dookie Shed, guys. It's D-O-O-K-I-E Shed. Dookie Shed. Subscribe to him. I got him on my subscriptions. He puts up some really good vids. Let's do one. This one's by Acknowledgia. Let's see. The top 10 scary, disturbing things in Pokemon.
Some people have the absurd notion that Pokemon is nothing more than a series about obnoxiously cute and cuddly critters beating each other up to the point of exhaustion, all in the name of friendship and perseverance. Okay, they might be kind of right in that regard, but what these naysayers don't know
This guy is the most negative person about Pokemon on
there is
YouTube.
a CD on the...
Let me just say this before I play this any longer. The reason I like Acknowledgia is because he takes a different outlook on the Pokemon world. Everybody thinks it's fluffy and cute, and yeah, he's got a little broken English, but his forte is being negative about the Pokemon world. So keep that in mind when you listen to these. If you watched any of his videos before, you know he puts like things like you know, the top 10 most miserable Pokemon in existence. And stuff like that. So this one here is the top 10 scary, disturbing things in the Pokemon world. So just to clear that up. And this is at Acknowledgia's channel.
Belly. If you really sit down and think about it for a second, the Pokemon universe is downright terrifying. The entire world is overrun with monsters, and every single person you meet is creepily obsessed with superpowered dogfighting. There are Pokemon churches, everyone talks about their favorite Pokemon all the time, including myself, and no one can do anything without the help of strange, magical, destructive creatures. Oh, and if you step into the wrong bush, you might be shot to death by an electronic rat. And those aren't even the most disturbing things in the Pokemon universe. Here's my tribute to the most disturbing things in Pokemon. Let's do this. 10. Celadon City Pervert. This elderly individual decided to take full advantage of the Celadon City Police Department's preoccupation with the influx of Team Rocket grunts in order to indulge in his voyeuristic pastime, peering through the windows of the Celadon City Gym uninterrupted. The sleazy geriatric, in the process of pumping his dicklet, unabashedly declares, "This gym is great. It's full of women." Women, you say? More like a gym full of teen girls trying to own their trainer skills in peace, preferably without peeking toms fogging up the windows. Fortunately for the old coot, your character wasn't a police officer, because if you were, the old perp's wrinkly ass would have been hauled off to the nearest prison, where he would likely have a first-hand experience with a horn drill attack in the communal shower. It's a one-hit KO. 9. The final battle with Wally, from Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Up until Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, your rivals in the game were by and large intolerable asshats that made it a point to go out of their way to either bombard you with put-downs or spring out of nowhere for a battle you didn't expect. Wally, on the other hand, was the exact opposite. Meek, kind, and, get ready for this one folks, sickly. What he suffers from isn't elaborated upon, but it's enough to cause his family to have a deep concern for his health. And his greatest wish is to be a Pokemon trainer, just like you, which causes a moral dilemma here. Despite his weak condition and protests from his family, Wally manages to make it to Victory Road for one final challenge against your, at this point, crazy strong team, who's been idolizing since the outset. Basically, your battle against Wally is a small child making a wish to the Make-A-Wish Foundation to play a one-on-one basketball game with his favorite star player. But imagine that this player doesn't hold back. Instead, he totally brings his A-game, including smack talk, underhanded maneuvers, and post-game showboating. That's your final battle with Wally, and it leaves you feeling like the worst trainer in the history of Pokemon. So, how does victory taste? Number 8. People are literally eating Pokemon every day. One of the most important messages in Pokemon is to treat Pokemon as friends, as equals. Trainers that push their Pokemon too hard, well, they're perceived as villains. I mean, no shit. Pokemon is all about the bond between the trainer and its Pokemon. It's a story of friendship. Until the trainer gets hungry, that is. In the television show, movies, and also the game, humans are seen eating all sorts of different types of food, and while it's never explicitly stated that they're dining on Pokemeat, they sort of have to be. Need some proof? Well, there are no other animals in the Pokemon world, not a single one. Anything that we would consider to be an animal that we would eat, like a cow or a fish, is just labeled as a Pokemon, shoved into a ball and forced to fight dragons while prepubescent children are screaming at them. We have to imagine the reason no one in the Pokemon universe ever talks about this issue is because they know how horrific it is. These incredible eatable Pokemon are highly intelligent, sharing a common language and understanding humans. Some can even speak to people, for crying out loud. Whatever, can you grab me some BBQ sauce? Let's throw another skitty on the grill. 7. In's room.
He's so negative.
Neverland. Team Plasma and their plans for world domination were doomed for failure from day one. Why, you ask? Well, the group unanimously decided it would be best to place all of their faith in natural Harmonia Gropius, also known as N, as his chums like to call him. He certainly covers all of the standard paint-by-numbers criteria for an evil leader, but there was one teensy snack that derailed everything. Guy's got the mind of a child. Intentional or purely coincidence, the developers took a page from Michael Jackson's Neverland with N's room filled to the brim with children's toys and games. Minus the incriminating appearance of youngster and bug trainers, all of this lends itself to the theory that N suffers from a severe case of Peter Pan syndrome. Pretty psychologically heavy stuff for a game rated E. Fortunately for N, he escapes his tortured life as King Man-Child with his legendary Pokemon, traveling to parts unknown. But as we all know N, he probably went out to ransack a bunch of toy stores. 6. One gigantic corporation runs the world. The world of Pokemon is run on, well, Pokemon. They're cheap labor and they are used for everything. But in order for Pokemon to be trained and captured, there needs to be an ample supply of Pokeballs. And only one company mass produces Pokeballs, Silph Co. Some other companies make them, but no one else has the market completely cornered. It doesn't take an expert economist to explain why this is a bad thing. Silph Co essentially owns the world, as evident by the fact that there's a Pokemart in every town. Almost every town, and I'm not even exaggerating. Though they're not owned by the same people, Silph Co has an exclusive deal with Pokemart, and whoa, shocker, that's the only widespread place of business in the entire series. Well, that and the Pokemon Center, but they only heal Pokemon if they're in Pokeballs, which are owned by Silph Co. Noticing a trend here? If Silph Co. decided to raise the prices or, for whatever reason, stopped making Pokeballs, the economic repercussions would be absolutely catastrophic, leading to an overpopulation of Pokemon and a financial crisis that would bring the entire world to its knees. Yeah, Silph Co. is that powerful. 5. Legendary Pokemon are essentially gods. Pikachu, Gengar, Snorlax, those Pokemon aren't really anything special. They're a dime a dozen. Shove one into a room with a Ditto, turn on some Berry White, and a few days later you are tripping over miniature pocket monsters. But there are some Pokemon that are special, some that are unique. These legendary Pokemon have appeared in every game and movie, and once you get over how cool they are, you start to realize how frightening it is that these powerful creatures even exist. The first and foremost popular legendary Pokemon was Mewtwo, a failed clone of Mew that celebrated his birthday by slaughtering a room full of scientists. Looking back on him, it is widely argued that he may be the weakest legendary Pokemon. Although I strongly disagree with that statement, I still believe he is one of the strongest. He is also proclaimed to be the
He only has the
Pokemon
highest
by the
stats of
creators
any
themselves.
Pokemon in X
Some
and
people
Y.
argue that more powerful ones have been found or, created over the years, including a trio that literally created the universe according to the Pokedex entries. We have Dalga, who
Which
made
by
time,
stats
Palkia
isn't
made
true.
space,
Mewtwo
and then we have
spawns the
Giratina, who
creation
made
trio in
antimatter.
stats.
And then we have Arceus.
I just because of the disinformation that the Agnologia just put in there. If you want to check Pokemon listed by stats at Bulbapedia, and you'll note that Mewtwo has the highest stats of any Pokemon in X and Y in its Mega form, in fact. Just throwing that out there.
Is who made them. And now they're all hanging out in caves waiting for children to capture them in bowls. Yeah, that's pretty disturbing.
Oh, our experiment isn't over yet. It's just beginning. Now the serious testing begins.
These humans, they care nothing for me.
Congratulations. We've done it now. Experiment. I guess. Is the new tank ready? No, we'll have to come up with a cage. Congratulations. Excellent. We'll start our testing right away.
Is that my purpose? Am I just an experiment? A laboratory specimen? This cannot be my destiny.
So yeah, that's that was by Dookie Shed and Agnologia on YouTube. A couple people I subscribe to. I like their videos. I like people who also make Pokemon videos. But yeah, check it out. It's pretty good, entertaining at the very least. Agnologia is probably the most negative person I've ever heard discuss the Pokemon universe, and so it makes for an interesting channel because he doesn't take the traditional look on things. He's very he's a very pessimistic person, and that shows in his videos. So we got we're 27 minutes in. This is only going to run 30 minutes. But yeah, basically what I do is I'm going to be dumping these out, giving them out all week long, maybe even all month long, as long as it takes to make them more prevalent on the network, up the supply, reduce the demand. I know a lot of you guys want this. It was only available in France from June 4th to June 21st, but we will have it all the time. We've added it to distributions permanently, so don't worry about that date. We'll be giving these fuckers out all month. So yeah. What do we got left? Pretty soon I'm going to have to restore my save. Get him down there. Yeah, we got a roll left. But yeah, guys, feel free to come over and check us out. It's XyHax.Blogspot.com. That's XyHax.Blogspot.com. And we'll be giving these Pokeball-shaped Vivillons out all week, so thanks for checking out the giveaway video. I know we haven't done one in a while, but I thought the Pokeball Vivillon warranted one. We'll be fucking up the in-game shiny economy like we always do. Feel free to come over to the chat box and visit as long as you're respectful and Not expecting a handout when you get there. Maybe we'll add you to our friends list. We got lots of distributors, lots of people with power saves ready to help out. So. Alright guys, that's pretty much going to wrap this one up. I'm going to send one more out, and then I think that's probably what we'll get out before the video stops. I got it set to stop at 30 minutes automatically, so. And we're about 29 minutes in. So yeah, that's about it guys. XyHax.Blog promotional Pokeball form Vivillon. It's going to be going out all month. Take it easy.